Hey all, welcome back to Trenton Makes, Trenton's premier variety show. I'm your host for today, Patrick Merklee, and today we got a special treat for you. We were able to get our hands on Recipes of the Soviet Union by Anne Fakaris. Now, this book was made by a special collaboration between the Trenton Artists Workshop Association and the Union of Soviet Artists. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the book here with us today, but our team of experts were able to get high-quality scans for us to use on today's show. Now, let's take a look and see what we'll be making today. So let's take a look through the cookbook here that I have on my phone here. Let's see, this one seems quite interesting. Miniature cream puffs. Let's see what the recipe entails, shall we? Use a standard cream puff recipe. Alright guys, we'll be right back. I'm going to go check out Google for standard cream puff recipe. After a quick Google search, we're here at allrecipes.com, and this seems like a pretty good recipe. Ingredients straightforward. So while we gather up these ingredients that we found here, let's take a little closer look at the collaboration that made this cookbook possible. This cookbook was produced in 1989 to commemorate the exchange program between the Trenton Artists Workshop Association, or TAWA for short, and the Union of Soviet Artists. We spoke with the committee chair of the exchange program, Gary Saretzky, who wrote the foreword for the cookbook. I would recommend reading his full sentiments in the book as it goes into detail of how this cookbook came to be. Gary was able to inform us that at one time, TAWA had more than 100 active members with regularly scheduled exhibits and other activities, including the exchange of artists and exhibits with the Soviet Union Artists Union. The illustrations were all done by members of TAWA, while the recipes originated from the Soviet Union. Anne Fakaris, the author, is a chef who provided all of the recipes for the book. She and her late husband had a couple of Greek restaurants in Princeton. This was a very interesting collaboration, and the book was sold at a fundraising event. Alright guys, we got all our ingredients gathered up here. We got 1 cup of milk, got 2 packages of instant vanilla pudding mix. We're going to get 4 eggs, half a cup of butter or 1 stick, pint of heavy cream, going to measure out a cup of milk, get a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, cup of flour, and then, according to our cookbook, we will include some lox, smoked salmon, and sour cream. Now, to start things off, let's get to that pudding mixture, shall we? As I said before, we'll be starting off with the pudding mixture, which is going to be the center of the cream puff once we're finished here. So to start that off, we got the instant pudding here. We'll be getting that mixture, putting it into the bowl. Nice and easy. Ooh, love that smell. Alright, now we got that in the bowl there. Gonna measure out our cup of milk. Gotta be as precise as possible. That's looking pretty nice there. So then we'll pour that into our mixture here. Ooh, already getting that nice classic pudding color. And now the recipe calls for 2 cups of heavy cream, or just 1 pint that we have here, so we'll just get that full thing going in on here. Very nice, very nice. Now, let's get to mixing, shall we? Start off nice and slow as we're going here. Noticing that the bowl's a bit small for my liking. We might need to transfer that over in a little bit. Alright, we have transferred the pudding into a bigger bowl because that other one just was not going to cut it. But as you can see, we're getting a nice classic pudding texture going here. We'll be putting this in the fridge to chill in just a minute. And say we're ready to chill this bad boy up. Now we've got the pudding in the fridge over there, cooling down, ready to go. Quite delicious. So now, next step that we need to get going is start boiling water with butter in it. So we've already got our cup of water in here. And we'll start that going now. And we also got to preheat our oven to 425. Awesome. Now, to make things go smoother with the water and butter, we are going to first cut the butter up into slabs to help it melt easier. So let's just get that going. I'll just slide these into the pot over here. Awesome. We'll get that going. We'll be right back. Now that we got the water and butter boiling in there, we got the flour and salt pre-measured out. So we're going to be putting the cup of flour in there very carefully. Don't want to burn ourselves, do we? Put the 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Excellent. Now we'll be mixing it together. Pretty gross mixture if I do say so myself, but we'll get it going in here. Alright, now that we got the mixture nice and ready here, nice solid form here, we're going to transfer that over to our mixing bowl here. Ooh, alright. Excellent. Now we'll go get the eggs ready. We'll see you there. Alright, we got our mixture here. We got some eggs pre-cracked here. We got one more to go. Let's get it. Ooh. Oh no. Oh, we're nailing it, guys. Ooh, there we go. Still no shell in there. Good sign. Get rid of the shell and then we'll start putting the eggs into the mixture. Alright, now that we got our eggs, we're going to be scooping in one yolk at a time and beating it in there very precisely, very carefully. So, I've never done this before, but it seems like this is the way to go about it if I have anything to say about it. Gotta beat in the egg. Recipe says to mix it in as best as you can before putting in the next ones. So we're going to make sure we got that nice and mixed in as we get going here. Let me tell you, this smells delicious, mainly because of the butter that was boiling in the water before. But I'm very excited, and I hope you guys are as well. Alright, we're almost done here, adding in the last egg into our mixture here. Split up the yolk, start it going in. And I'm quite impressed. It's looking very delicious in my opinion. Not so much with that egg yolk, but once we get it all mixed up, ready to go, I think we're gonna have a very tasty product on our hands here. Everything is nicely mixed now. Everything is looking quite incredible if you ask me. So the next step is to take our beautiful mixture here and get our tablespoon, start putting it on the sheet. So let's see how we can do this here. Let's see. Let's just slab it on there. Oh yeah. Look at that. I'll make sure to reshape these before we put them right into the oven, but ooh, that's a nice one. We got the last one here. As you can see, we had to get a second sheet because one just wasn't going to cut it for the mastery that will be these cream puffs. So now we got everything ready. Now we just put them into our preheated oven, 425. We'll set the timer for about 25 minutes, check in on every now and then. Now while we wait for this to cook, here's a word from our sponsors.
E.L. Kern's Soft Drinks. Oh yeah. Serving Trenton fine flavors and good mixers for 75 years. Try our wide variety of wonderful flavors. Try some of our finest products like Squirt or our magnificent club soda. Buy E.L. Kern's products today.
Thank you to our sponsor for that. Make sure to get yourself E.L. Kern's products today. Now while this finishes cooking up, we're going to go make the mixture that's part of the cookbook. So the recipe calls for bits of smoked salmon and a dollop of sour cream, so we're just going to make it easier and just mix it all together. So let's start by cutting this. It's not really working. Sick. Alright, getting better luck now. Now we can hold it down. Just like that. Got our salmon ready to go. Now we're gonna get our sour cream. And get it into our bowl here. There we go. Now we'll get our salmon. Good enough. Then we'll mix it all together. Doesn't that seem delicious? Now that we finished the sour cream and salmon mixture, got a couple minutes left on the timer here, so while we let that cook, let's take a look at some of the Trenton artists featured within this book. The first illustration we'll look at is Still Life by Anne Bobo. Her illustration accompanies the salmon mousse recipe. Anne also designed the cover of the cookbook. This illustration is titled Grocery Arc and was done by Rich Grote. It can be seen next to the smoked salmon tort recipe. When we contacted Rich, he informed us that this illustration was originally done for and printed in the New York Times food section in the mid-1970s. Our next illustration accompanies the baklava recipe. This is Interior by P. Tyndall. This illustration is found on the last page of the cookbook and was done by Ann Bevan. One of our team members, Stacie Evans, actually found the original sculpture that this illustration is based on in the Philadelphia Museum of Art. The sculpture was done by French artist Constantine Brancusi and is titled The Kiss. It makes sense as to why Ann Bevan would title this illustration after Brancusi. And the last piece we'll be showing off today is the one that accompanies the miniature cream puff recipe. This illustration was done by T. Corboy and is titled Homage to Malevich. Seems like our cream puffs here are finished cooking in the oven. Let's get them out here. Ooh, nice and sizzling. Look at that beauty. Put that there. Looking nice. Alright guys, we got all of our ingredients completely ready to go. We got beautiful cream puffs here. Got the filling, the pudding, and of course, the mixture that the cookbook inspired right here. Now, let us cut one of these bad boys open. Just like so. And now, let's get our pudding. Perfect. Sort of. And gotta have a little extra cream there. Just get it in. There we go. And then, let's get the sour cream and salmon mixture in there as well. Incredible. Put that down. We got a beautiful cream puff right here. Alright, let's make a few more here. This one's just screaming to be eaten. Let's just get it onto all these ones here. Now let's get the mixture in. Voila. Well guys, here we got the cream puff, completely finished recipe. I'm very excited to give this a try, so why don't we? Pretty good actually. Wow. Let's get a better helping of the salmon there. Honestly, very good dessert. First impression, the salmon actually adds a very nice flavor to the cream puff. This came out much better than I personally expected. Thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of Trenton Makes. I had so much fun and I hope you guys enjoyed this journey as much as I did. I was not expecting to enjoy this recipe as much as I did. Who knew smoked salmon could add so much to such a sweet dessert such as a cream puff? It truly was something special. You can find this recipe and others like it in Recipes of the Soviet Union by Anne Ficars. Pick yourself up a copy today at the Trentoniana. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.